LTTV, Blunt Talk with LT, back with another video. Let's hope the sound works this time and we don't have any of these technical difficulties. All right, so let's get right into this one. Stephen A. Smith speaks on Max Kellerman being removed from First Take. Let's get right into this one.
I'm here. I told
you. The internet says that you wanted Max Kellerman off the program. I saw him say goodbye the other day. You called in. You had a sleep apnea surgery, which I want to get into a little bit just to learn a little bit about you a little bit more. But it didn't seem like you and Max had a bad relationship at all. So where do those rumors come from? And what's the truth with the departure of Max Kellerman from First Take?
Well, the rumor's accurate.
Now, the video we reacting to, struggles, is interview on Hot 97's channel. Link is in the description if you want to see the full video. This is just a segment on Max Kellerman. Fair use. Let's get it.
In terms of me wanting him off the show, let's get that out the way. Yes, I did.
The truth with the departure of Max Kellerman from First Take.
Well, the rumor's accurate in terms of me wanting him off the show. Let's get that out the way. Yes, I did.
What?
We don't have a bad relationship. I think he's a real good guy. I appreciate what he did for the show. We were number one for 5 years. We stayed number one, and I appreciate that. But what a lot of people don't realize is that the work that goes into doing the show every single day. And the reality is that we have 15 segments a day, 75 segments a week. Over 3,000 takes a year. In the 9 years that I've been on First Take, I've given over 33,000 takes. And what a lot of people don't realize is that not just the work that goes into that.
And when you have all those takes, this is why we have these hold on. The Zesty take compilation. You say a lot of takes, you're gonna say a lot of stupid shit at certain times, but you have to have the willingness to go out on a ledge and say these takes. So this was from the Zesty take compilation, but this is what happens when you have all these takes.
If this brother had a few more inches, oh Lord, don't get me salivating and fantasizing about things. Oh my God.
Now that's disrespectful because that's completely taken out of context. He was talking about height or length for a player just being in the post or whatever. But that's what happens. People get clipped up. You have all those moments. You have outrageous things said, like what Skip says every day about LeBron. You have to go out on a ledge and make these type of takes. I'm pretty sure that Stephen A. had a problem with Max Kellerman having a lot of safe takes, a lot of things that you can't really be wrong on because it's just completely safe. Let's get into it, though.
But also the fact that it's a chemistry that you have, and sometimes it just stalls. And the audience lets you know that it is what it is, and you feel the need for something fresh. You feel the need to retool. And the reason why I'm unapologetic about my position is that, number one, there's no knock against him personally, his professionalism, his work ethic, and all of that other stuff, his talent. It's not like I wanted the guy to be fired or anything like that. I knew that there were landing spots for him available at this network that would generate just as much, if not more, revenue for him and all of that other stuff. And it wasn't really about asking him.
He's already relocated to a new position within the network. It's Keyshawn, Jay Will, and Max. They have a show in the morning. So he's not like he's completely fired from the network. Like, I understand this. This is show business. Stephen A is getting a lot of flack for this, but this is show business. When you look at Fox Sports 1 replacing Chris Carter and what it's done for First Things First. First Things First is a lot better now that Fox Sports 1 got rid of Chris Carter. Nick Wright has stepped into his own, is more of a personality of his own. The network seen that there was things that needed to be done to make the show better. A lot of people watch Skip and Shannon before watching First Take, and you wonder why. It's not like Stephen A's performances are bad. It's just that the mix with Max Kellerman may not fit. He's the one that recommended Max Kellerman for the job in the first place. So it's not like he's being a snake. Let's listen to the rest and you guys get some perspective.
To be off the show. It was about the fact that I knew that we together, as far as I was concerned, was not a great partnership anymore. And that was something that needed to change. And we cover the world of sports. And this is where maybe I stand on an island all by myself in saying this, but I'm absolutely flabbergasted that people would react the way that they do in terms of stuff like this, because we cover the world of sports. Yes, Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Pete, Ebro, they're an aberration because they're returning all 22 starters and their entire coaching staff and all of that stuff.
Right.
John Madden did that as well. But when you're trying to win and win for a long period of time, you don't stand still. Championship squads change all the time. And so for me, I remember in 2012 where First Take was on the verge of cancellation, and Skip Bayless asked me to come on board. And I come on board, and a month later, we go number one. That's 9 years ago. And we were number one for 4 years. And then Max comes on board. And we number one for 5 years. To this day. Well, that means I've been number one for 9 years. It means I got a pretty good idea about what I'm doing when it comes to this show and what's necessary in order for it to work. And so for me, to this day, when I first spoke to Max about stuff years ago, I said, Joe, man, we doing this more than 3 years together. It's a problem, because I'm always looking to expand and move on, to diversify my portfolio and to make things happen. And you'll be hard pressed for me to say to you after 3 years, we should be together for longer than that. Let's ride this wave. Let's be number one, and we'll go from there. Well, we weren't number one for 3 years. We extended it to 5.
What I hear you saying is that you believe change is how you keep things fresh.
Yep.
You believe you're basically saying that no one is permanent on First Take. Whatever it takes to keep it fresh is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Y'all see what happens when somebody is playing trash on LeBron's teams? They gone. They're replaced. It's not like Max Kellerman was trash. It's just not the best fit. Sometimes LeBron might need a 3-point shooter. He might not need another slasher.
This
has nothing to do with Max. This has everything to do with how you see keeping things fresh and entertaining.
Absolutely. And then not only that, it also wasn't my decision. I gave my recommendation. They ask it, I tell it. Every single year when the season, when the NBA season comes to an end, the bosses ask me where I stand. And for the last 3 years, I said, this is where I stood. And not only
so you've been consistent with the position that we need to evolve the program. We need a new energy for the last 3 years. But they're going to take your recommendation, right?
Yeah, see, on my old channel, I did a reaction to this when it first came out that Stephen A was trying to get Skip Bayless back on First Take when Skip Bayless was renegotiating with Fox Sports 1. And they were saying that Stephen A was trying to get Max out of there at that moment. Stephen A was open and honest about it. He spoke to Max about it. This is show business. This is show business. People don't like it. It's not. There's some people aren't built for show business. A lot of people are mad at Stephen A, but it's like, for the way I look at it, it's like this is show business.
Let me say this to you.
Let's go to the comments, see what we got here. Joe Trainer, he was up front with Max and they went 2 years over their projection. I don't see the problem with it. Me neither. I do not see the problem with it at all. Natasha Kayleen, isn't Max the one who Terrell Owens said was blacker than Stephen A. Smith on air? LOL. Yeah, he is the person, but Max is good when it comes to these social issues. He's very liberal. He's good at speaking. He's very good when it comes to these social issues. A lot of people rock with him because of that. But when it comes to sports debate, sometimes he takes a lot of safe takes. Maybe it's not I don't see no problem with them moving on. Let's get back to it.
That I also told Max that.
Right.
How did Max react to that?
They're going to take your recommendation, right?
Well, let me say this to you. Not just that. I also told Max that.
Right. And how did Max react to that?
He disagreed with me. And he disagreed with me 3 years ago. He disagreed 2 years ago. He disagreed this time. We've always understood where we stand with each other. And he also knew that it was nothing personal and it was nothing against him as a talent. I got a lot of...
Now, as y'all need to understand that he was very upfront with him. They understand the business. Max, no, they're cool. There's no problem with them. It's not like they have a beef or anything. They don't like each other. It's just business.
disagreed this time. We've always understood where we stand with each other. And he also knew that it was nothing personal and it was nothing against him as a talent. I got a lot of respect for Max, and I genuinely like Max as a person. But I just didn't feel that, moving forward, he and I together was the right call. And I said that to the bosses. They disagreed with me a few times in the past. Evidently, this time they understood and they made the move.
No one will ever accuse you of holding back, Stephen A. So let's keep it real. Let's keep this moving. Sure. How did you do on Jimmy Kimmel?
Well, they say I did great. Let's go with that.
I want to know, did they ask you back? Yes. That's the tell.
Yes, they did. Yeah. Yes, they did.
Then you did. So you did damn good then.
But I want to know how Stephen A. felt about it. How did you think?
The honchos at Jimmy Kimmel, along with the honchos at Disney.
Now, I played the drops over that, but he was all right on Jimmy Kimmel. He didn't do a bad job.
They were incredibly happy with what I did, and they said that they want me to do it more because they know I want my own late night show. They know I'm unapologetic about that, whether it's network television or an outlet like Hulu. They know they know exactly where I stand and how I feel and what my aspirations are. But that was my first time ever doing it. And so when people say you need more reps, you need more practice, let's see what you can do if you're doing this continuously. Having a big night one night is a real big plus, but let's see if you can do that again. That's where their mentality is. We'll see what happens. There are no guarantees. Nobody's made any promises to
TG. Their chemistry sucks. Max is too boring. Well, some feel that way. I think that way too because it is true.
Me or anything like that, but they know where my heart lies, and they know that I don't stand still, that I'm constantly looking to evolve and get better and upgrade my quality of life as it pertains not just to money or anything like that, but the actual job you go in to do every day. It's incredibly important to me at this particular moment in time of my life to just have a good time, man. There's so much stuff that's going on in the world, and there's so many things that can bring you down. But when you are in front of that camera, you got to bring something to the table. And with me, it's not just my knowledge, it's my passion for what I do. And when I'm not passionate, that's also evident. And when it's not there, people are going to notice, they're going to talk about it, and it's something that can ultimately damage you in terms of your future aspirations. And I'm never going to let that happen with me if I can help it. And so for me, the thought of doing late night is.
Now that is a great point that cannot be overlooked.
Something that I enjoy thoroughly. I'm after it. I'm unapologetic about it. I'm going for it. And hopefully they'll have me back to do more of those things. And hopefully someday in the near future, I'll be hosting a late night show, whether it be for Hulu, FX, or something else, or network television. But make no mistake about it, I'm going for it. And I'm not talking about going for it. I'm not talking about going for it at the expense of First Take. I ain't leaving First Take. I got 4 years to go on First Take. And I'm going to fulfill my commitment to First Take, whether I get a late night show or not. But I'm going for a late night show. It's what the hell I want to do. And
you're going to have to start sleeping better. Let me just tell you right now, as your friend, you know what I'm saying? You want to do all these jobs and everything, Stephen. That's cute. But you're going to have to start sleeping better.
Well, I will tell you this. There's nowhere to go but up, because I've been suffering from sleep apnea all my adult life. Mm-hmm. And what that means is that, for those that don't know, it's basically your tongue is collapsing in the back of your throat once it gets relaxed and you're resting, and it blocks your passages, your breathing.
Now, I'm going to let them explain this, but I have the same shit. It's horrible. You wake up in the middle of the night not being able to breathe. I jump out of my bed sometimes like, fuck, can't breathe. Tongue collapsing in the back of your... But that's only when I lay on my back, which is horrible. But it's a terrible thing. Good thing he got the surgery for that. It's not something to be overlooked as well, because a lot of people suffer from sleep apnea. Let's let him explain what he's going to explain.
Passages. But what can make it worse and even significantly more dangerous is when you don't have oxygen and air going through those nostrils. And so when I spoke to y'all, right around that week or so, they discovered when I went to the doctor that I had like 90% blockage in my nostril. And so as a result of that, they decided that they needed to operate on me. And so that was why I told y'all I would come back on. I couldn't come back when the whole Max news came down and all of that stuff. And people like, where's Stephen A? Where's Stephen A? Well, I was at St. Francis Hospital in Long Island getting my damn nostrils operated on. I was hospitalized for a day and a half. I had 2 big splinters from the tip of my nose all the way up between my eyes, placed on both sides of my nostrils and all of that other stuff. And it was essentially surgery to open to address the septum and to open up my breathing passages and what have you, so I can breathe through my nostrils while I'm getting some sleep and stuff like that. So for the most part, it works because all of these years, I would tell you for at least the last 25, 30 years, I can count the days on one hand that I did not wake up with a migraine. So I would wake up every day, I'd have migraines, and I would have to work my way through it. And so for me, the toughest part I've passed. In other words, it can't get much worse than it has been the last 25, 30 years. I'm hoping the surgery works. They say.
To be honest, I don't know how he was that successful going through life, traversing life with all those migraine headaches. That's also something I suffer from. Awful. The worst thing in the world. Fuck migraine headaches.
Ain't nobody got time for that. That it takes about 6 weeks to really kick in and all of that other stuff. And we'll see what happens because the surgery was just three weeks ago or so. And I'm working through it, and I expect to be better than ever.
Well, look, I know one thing. You're going to be a little more nicer. We're going to get a nicer Stephen A. Smith. See,
arrested
he's already
Stephen
smiling.
A. Yeah.
Arrested, less emotional, nicer Stephen A. Smith. I don't know if the world's prepared for this.
I think you're wrong. I actually happen to believe I'm a very nice guy. Really, I've always believed I'm a very nice guy.
He's a nice guy.
John Thompson, the late, great John Thompson, former coach at Georgetown, I think that he encapsulated me and what I'm about a long time ago. He said he was hosting his radio show in D.C. with Doc Walker and those guys, and he finished the interview. He said, "This is what I love about Stephen A. You want to know how he feels? Just ask him." It's really that simple. And so for me, people talk about hot takes, or people talk about, well, Stephen said this, and they attach a headline for clickbait material and all of this other stuff. When people ask me a question, I answer them. I give them an honest answer, period. Now, I'm not going to debate people for free. People try to come up to me on the streets, in the supermarket, whatever the case may be. I'll be like, stop right there. I get paid to debate. I ain't doing that for free.
Yeah, that's
you cancel that. But you ask me a question, I'm going to give you an answer. And that's me, and that's always been me, and it ain't going to change.
All right, so that's it for the segment regarding Max Kellerman. They asked him straight up. He answered straight up. He's been very transparent the whole time through this process. I don't know who they're going to replace Max Kellerman with, but hopefully that person has more chemistry with Stephen A. Smith and has the willingness to actually take takes, because there's our make takes. There's points where we're sitting down, Stephen A. makes a take, and we're waiting for Max Kellerman to make a take, and he says something, and
we have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok, and flat out deceived.
He doesn't actually make the take. And Molly at points, Molly had to call him out and be like, what is that? That's not even a take. Pick a side. Say something. So at some point, we have to understand that when he talks about being number one in ratings and appeasing the bosses and everything, we know Stephen A's mentality when it comes to ESPN and appeasing the bosses already. He's been making it very clear for a long time. We know his mentality about that. I don't know if Skip and Shannon are whooping their asses in the ratings. I don't know. I don't know the actual TV numbers. A lot of interest, and when you look at the YouTube numbers, Skip and Shannon are doing well. Generally getting more interest. First things first, Undisputed getting a lot of interest. First takes, always having these fill-ins. It hasn't been the same for a while now. I don't begrudge Stephen A. Smith for this move. He said 3 years was the mark. They lasted 5 to 6. A lot of people are dragging Stephen A. Smith's name through the mud for this, and I'm like, this is show business. It's not a good fit. They think there could be better. I wonder who's on the way. Right now, there's just different people every day. We'll see what's going to happen in the future, but not mad at him. Hopefully first take gets actually better. Hopefully they don't regress and get someone worse. I'm thinking they probably had someone in mind already, but You know, it is what it is. We're going to wrap it up here. A lot more streams on the way. This one is pretty much just a short reaction to show that Stephen A. Smith is being honest about it. He's been asked directly. He gave a real answer, which could be verified by many sources, including Max Kellerman himself. So it is what it is. We out. Yeah.